of the day, it's what gives you motivation when you feel like giving up and things are getting tough. If you go back to that why, that's what gets you through those hard times, and that's what gets you through that negative self-talk, is, you know, focusing on the bigger picture. Ooh.
Hi. Hello and welcome to JOLYN Vulnerability. Lizzie and I are so excited today because we have the very important, very exciting and honourable guest today. We have Jess Goulding, who is the owner of JOLYN Australia. So welcome, Jess.
Thank you, guys. I'm so excited. You guys have been doing such an incredible job that I feel honoured to be on here. So thank you.
We are very honoured to have you on today. And I know that this is a little bit of a challenging thing to do, is to open up and actually be vulnerable about a topic that you don't always speak about. Before we go into this, I'd also like to mention that Jess, in her past life, is an ex-Australian swim team competitor in open water. She's travelled the world racing in 5K and 25K in the World Championships. So you may not know that about JOLYN, but she's also lived the professional athlete life before she's gone on to become the owner of JOLYN.
We are so excited to have you on here today, Jess. We've known Jess for a long time now, and she's been so supportive of what we do. And like, just to let you girls know, she's an awesome woman running JOLYN from behind the scenes. You might not get to see her often, but JOLYN has a good soul, and that is Jess Walker. And also, this is the final episode for this season of Vulnerability, so we're going to give it a little bit of a break after this one. We hope you guys have enjoyed it, and there will be more to come. But yeah, this is it for now. And before we get into some vulnerable questions, the most important question is what tea everyone has chosen to drink today.
I've gone just a pure peppermint. Nice and refreshing for summer.
I'm actually double parked today. It's one of those days I couldn't decide if I felt like a coffee or a tea, so I decided to do both.
And I'd have both.
What have you mixed with your coffee? What mix are you going with? Coffee and...
I've gone the lemon and ginger. I don't really mix as well, but you know, I need a little caffeine hit and then the refreshing ginger up.
Some energy.
That's not a great combination, lemon and ginger and coffee.
Well, I've gone for a bit of a out there tea. I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's very red.
So fancy.
Fire tea or something. It's meant to be relaxing. It doesn't look very relaxing though. It looks a bit intense. So we'll see.
We'll see you start getting relaxed by the end of the chat.
Yeah. Alrighty, let's dive into it.
All right. So first question, Jess, and we know that this can sometimes be challenging to answer. So please, it's a safe space, and all the girls listening would love to hear your experience. So first question is, have you ever doubted yourself and your ability, more specifically in your purpose in life and your career?
That's so tough. I mean, that's what we're here for, getting vulnerable. I have definitely doubted myself all the time. For me, growing up through school, I never succeeded at school ever. You know, like report cards would come home and I'd pretty much cry heading home from swimming, knowing that it was, you know, if only Jess would apply herself, if only Jess would focus, if only, you know, Jess cared more, then she'd be better and she'd do better. And you know, I never got A's, I never even got B's. I pretty much just scraped through school. So I think kind of growing up with that, we're always constantly told, you know, by the education system that you're a failure. You kind of, that becomes embedded in you, and it's hard to get past that. Whoa.
Oh, Jess.
So, you know, like for me, I never thought I'd get through university, let alone get through university and have this amazing network of girls that, you know, we give swimmers to, and we encourage on a daily basis to be a better, you know, be better people and to believe in themselves. So that's where it stemmed from for me, because I never believed in myself. as a young girl.
It's okay.
I'm sure there's so many girls that would feel the same way, and being able to see you now, like you're not a young girl anymore, and how hard that is.
I'm old.
Not old, but like you can carry through.
I think it's so relatable. And
Yeah.
when you were feeling like that, like getting those report cards and not starting uni straight away, like how did that make you feel?
I think for me, I just turned my focus to swimming. Like that was what I knew I could do. That was something that I knew if I worked hard at, I'd get the results. Whereas, you know, education wise, I'd work hard and I wouldn't get the results. It didn't matter whether I studied or I didn't study, I'd get 51% in a maths test. Like nothing mattered, nothing would change my result. Whereas swimming was where I knew if I turned up every single day and I did exactly what the coach told me to do, I'd get the results. And, you know, you have a bit more control around that. And so going into uni, I never really knew what I wanted to do. I started.
When did you go into, so because we know after school you applied yourself to swimming, when did you like find the courage to try uni?
So I actually did a bridging course straight out of school. I didn't do what was called a TEE for WA. I think it's your
OP or your HEC.
OP, yeah, like I didn't do that. I decided just to kind of do the bare minimum to pass high school.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had a semester off, so I didn't do anything first semester straight out of school. Second semester, I did a bridging course, which got me into uni. I actually thought that was really helpful. It made me learn how to actually do uni life, you know, learn how to reference, how to use the library, how to use all the databases. And so I actually found that really, really helpful. And it's something I've told a lot of people I recommend they do, because you actually learn what you need to do in uni to get through every course. I went straight into, from there, I started uni and did PE teaching, which I didn't love. I didn't really, you know, feel like that was my purpose. So I wasn't really showing up to uni. I was, again, just doing the bare minimum and not really getting the results that I wanted or should have got. So then I moved to the Gold Coast. That's when I focused more on sport. And it wasn't until I started dating my husband and he encouraged me to, you know, go to uni and do something other than sport and, you know, have that life balance where you're focusing on, you know, swimming when you're at swimming, but you're looking at the bigger picture, you know, like what happens if I injure myself and I can't actually continue with sport and I have nothing past then? Like, what do you do? So I decided to apply for paramedics. I then failed at paramedics and didn't actually get into the course. So I was like, well, I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I'm passionate about. Like the only thing I've ever known myself to be passionate about is sport. So I decided to do event management. So I'm like, I love planning events. I loved planning parties. I loved that side of things. So I was like, okay, let's start a business degree, which is so open-ended. You know, once you go to uni, you can do whatever. So started doing my Bachelor of Business on event management. And that's when I was very lucky to meet the owner of JOLYN in America. And things just kind of unraveled. Like I was working hospitality, I was training, and I was studying full time. So I was juggling a lot, but I knew that I had a purpose. Like I loved swimming. I loved working, you know, to pay my way through life. And meeting Warren, who started JOLYN in America, and he said, oh, you know, like, do you want to start selling JOLYNs in Australia? You'd be perfect. And I was like, what? Like, I've never worked retail in my entire life. Like, I'm a uni student, swimmer, and I work in hospitality. And he's like, yeah, but you have good customer service and you know the product, so just give it a go. And I'm like, okay, like, and Trent, being the amazing man he was like, Jess, you can do this. Like, this is a really cool opportunity. And what's the worst that happens? You know, like, worst case scenario, what happens? And I'm like, well, I don't sell any swimmers. Like, he's like, so what's so bad about that? I'm like, okay, like let's give it a go. And so like, I've been so lucky that I've learned so much from Trent, you know, like he is such an encouraging person that anytime I do doubt myself, you know, he's the person I go to. And he's like, Jess, like, you can do this. You've proven in the past, like when you want to do something, you put your mind to it, you can do it. You know, like stop doubting yourself and think about all the amazing things that you've already achieved and put that into, you know, your new goal. And you'll soon realize that it's not that hard. Like if you just take it step by step and focus on small goals, you'll eventually achieve that big goal. So
that is such an incredible story.
Where we are now.
And now looking at JOLYN is an awesome platform where you promote like women and you empower young girls and women, and you're not just selling swimmers, like you're creating a safe space for girls in the ocean and in the water to feel safe and encouraged and motivated to achieve their goals. Like what you've done with JOLYN in Australia is, I'm sure it's beyond anything you imagined when you first started that job. So you should be really proud of that. And I guess like we're really interested to know, you kind of started to go into it, but this girl who doubted herself so much that you were talking about at the start and just wanted to stick to swimming because that was the safe option. How did you build up that courage to take that first step to start JOLYN and to like take that risk? Because that would have been really hard for someone who has that self-doubt in the back of their mind, like we all do.
I think the biggest thing was focusing on like, you know, my why. Like, I think if anyone out there doesn't know their why, it's the best thing that you could ever do is sit down and, you know, try and focus on what is your why, because at the end of the day, it's what gives you motivation when you feel like giving up and things are getting tough. If you go back to that why, that's what gets you through those hard times, and that's what gets you through that negative self-talk, is, you know, focusing on the bigger picture. And, you know, for me, if I'm not achieving something, then why am I here? And I think that it's, I don't know, like surrounding yourself with people that encourage you. That was another big one, was, you know, there's so many doubters out there that will always tell you you can't do it. They'll always tell you like, that's the stupidest idea I've ever heard. I mean, I'm sure when you both decided to paddle Molokai, there was people going like, what the hell do you want to do that for? Like, that's just stupid. And part of you is like, oh, like that is stupid. But at the end of the day, it's like, you want to do it for a reason, and you just need to ignore all the haters and focus on your why. You know, their why doesn't matter. Like it's your life, and you should do what makes you happy. And if challenging yourself and, you know, starting a business is what you want to do, then put yourself outside of your comfort zone and just give it a go. Like worst case scenario is you fail, but to me, if you're failing, you're at least living your life, and you're trying, and you're getting outside your comfort zone, and you're growing and you're learning. So isn't that the exciting part of life? Like if we just always succeed, then it's not really, we're not growing and we're not changing and we're not developing and we're not getting to experience the highs and lows. So I think that's kind of what I try to focus on, even though I struggle with confidence every day and I always doubt myself.
Still now?
Yes, every day.
Yes, but look at how brave you are, someone who like we all doubt ourselves. But I think that's important to know, that even though you still doubt yourself now, look at what you've done by just being brave and taking a simple first step. It's so inspiring.
I was just going to say that is so inspiring what you've just said, Jess. I think that anyone who's listening, it makes me want to go and chase dreams and all of it.
You are chasing.
Yeah, but continue that, and just like I guess you can see how passionate you are about JOLYN and about what you've become and what you're able to do. When you were, say, 20-year-old Jess not getting into paramedics, not having that confidence of knowing that you know, did well at school and then you have that ability to learn. Did you ever see yourself as doing this now? And what did you kind of like see as your career? Or you just didn't know?
I had absolutely no idea. And even when I was, you know, starting to sell JOLYN, I was still like, well, like, what else can I do? Like, surely this won't be my job. Like, I can't, like, I could never. And I still struggle to imagine what we've created. I'm still like, what? Like, what do you mean, you know, this many girls chimed in and listened to vulnerability? Or like, what do you mean this many girls came and bought swimmers on the weekend? Like, I still get so nervous every time I'm doing a pop-up shop that no one's going to come and buy anything. And like, I'll say to Trent, oh, like, should I really do it tomorrow? Like, what if no one comes? And then, you know, I see 50, 100 girls all come and get excited. And when they're shopping, it's so inspiring. And just seeing how happy girls are when they put their suits on and they feel confident and they feel beautiful, to me, that is the most rewarding part of my job. And I love it. Well, I love all of you.
It's been so important. Like, I know for me, like, I'm empowered by wearing JOLYNs, and like, I don't think there's another swimwear brand out there that does that for females this well. And it's definitely because you're behind it, driving it with all your passion, and it wouldn't be as empowering and awesome as it is now if you weren't there driving it. And this story of what you've done is going to be so important, because there's so many girls like you out there right now who are really passionate about their sport but don't know what they're going to do later in life. Everyone knows that sport has a time limit, so knowing that there's successful people like you who have been in the exact same boat is going to be so reassuring for so many girls.
Yeah, and it's never too late, you know, like, it's never too late to learn. It's never too late to change your mind. Like, if you have a job that you don't love doing, find something else that you do love doing. Like, we work to live, we don't live to work. And it's something that, you know, I say to so many, like the girls in the office, I'm like, if you aren't enjoying a job, like, tell me, because I want every person to feel inspired to come to work. I want people to feel inspired to wake up in the morning. And if you don't, then reassess what you're doing, because why settle for being unhappy? Like, it's not worth it.
Yes, there's been so many gems in here, and like, knowing you so well, I'm so inspired by you, and I think your story can relate to so many girls out there, as we've said. And it wasn't just that you didn't know what you were doing and then you found JOLYN. You tried so many different things and you were lost along the way trying to figure that out, and then here you are, spreading so much happiness and also being able to do something that you absolutely love. So we are so glad that we got to talk to you today. And I think it's also so, I guess, what's that word? Real, like, now I'm lost to words, but to see your emotion before, it just, I guess it's so raw, and it just means that this has all meant so much to you as well.
And we're so grateful you shared it so openly. Like, I feel a bit shaky because I like, it's so I'm so grateful to be part of JOLYN, because you're so
well,
awesome.
I love both of you, and we're very lucky, and the entire JOLYN community is lucky to have you both. So thank you.
Cheers. Cheers.